TV121 Talk.
It's Alan Melondius. You got to be more careful.
You can say what you want to say.
Alan Melondius. You got to be more careful.
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Episode 18.
Episode 18.
What are we talking about? Well, let me give the title first.
Okay.
Well, I missed something. We are back. We are back, episode 18, and we titled this The Harder We Fall.
Right.
In tribute to the movie that's on Netflix right now, The Harder They Fall.
Correct.
Great movie.
Yeah, it was really good.
Great movie. We had a suggestion from Mrs. DeJarnett that lives out here in Colorado Springs that we should make the episodes a little shorter.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to give her a round of applause, but everything just went haywire. Right
Okay.
But I'll fix that.
All right.
But yeah, so she suggested that we make the episodes a little shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And we will do so. We're going to break it down to about anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes.
Okay.
Right. Before we get into the topic, anything you want to talk about?
I got to go back to work.
Well,
I mean, I'm working, but I got to go back to the office.
To the office. I mean, it's the 1st of December, right?
Yes.
You got a few weeks. I mean, you can't complain. You've been at home for over a year.
I've been at home for almost 2 years.
Okay, well, you can't complain.
No, I can't. Just means I have to get dressed for real.
Okay, so you're going back to the job.
Mm-hmm.
And, but you know, when you first get there, you'll probably feel like, because you remember you talked about the actual movement of getting up and walking around and.
Right, but there's not going to be anyone in the building but myself and 3 other coworkers.
3 other coworkers.
Mm-hmm. So we're not even going to be seeing people.
You mean like customers or what do you call those people? Clients? Clients, you're not going to be seeing them.
Right, we're not going to see them.
Right. I mean, you be all right, shorty.
Okay.
You be all right.
Well, you know, I got a taste of it yesterday.
You got a taste of it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what do you mean by that?
Because I had to give a briefing.
Oh, I was there.
Yeah, and I was cute.
You did your thing.
Thank you.
I sat in the back and I was watching, and you commanded the crowd. Your information was what's the good word? It was clear, concise, accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why there were questions in the end, but there wasn't a lot of questions.
Right.
Because, you know, you did your thing.
Right.
Is that a round of applause?
Sure.
That's a round of applause.
Give me a round of applause.
A round of applause.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move on.
Okay, let's go.
You know what? I am going to do it.
Oh, okay.
Can I get like 2 minutes here with some interaction with you?
2 minutes.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Can I curse? No?
No.
Okay. This that we're doing, like this podcast thing and everything, it's not easy.
It's not.
It's not easy. I mean, a lot of people probably think, yo, I could do it. Podcast and all this stuff and whatever. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Now, we make a conscious effort to create a voice. We're trying to create a voice for the show. In my opinion, that's going to be you. Cause it is. So as far as like, you know, the voice of the show, I eventually wanted to be totally you. But
say what now? What you talking about, Willis?
Where were you? You had to lean away or something?
Yeah. Okay. Totally me. How can it be totally me?
Eventually, it's like Yolandius' world. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get to that down the line.
Okay. Keep talking.
So I do certain things to keep you engaged. You got a nice voice, so people can listen to you.
Ooh.
You know, but I do certain things. But I had a situation. last week was somebody just totally undercut what I do.
Right.
And I want to say this for the record, you know, as if we're talking personal. Hey, I've been doing this since 9th grade.
Right.
Easy.
Right.
Between hip hop, you know, how do you scratch? How do you record somebody's vocals? How do you make a song? I've been doing this for a long time. So when I heard that undercut, I'm like, what? Like, are you serious right now?
Right.
What do you think we just hit? What are we hitting record on?
Right.
Like, what do you think what do you think is happening?
Exactly.
That thing rubbed me the wrong way.
Right.
But I was talking to Doral and I realized something. I really did. I really don't care what somebody else thinks. It's nice that they have a thought.
Right.
But I don't really care.
Right.
Because the reason that I'm doing this is for us.
Yes. And
right?
our babies.
Yeah. Oral histories and what we thought about this and what type of people we were and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if one of the byproducts is to make a little money, I'll take that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm not on Apple. I'm not on Google. We on Spotify, though.
Spotify.
We on Spotify, though. I'm not on Apple. I'm not on Google and stuff like that. But we all right.
Yeah, we are.
We all right. And sometimes I get a little upset when I post stuff. And I don't see the reaction.
Right.
Now, this morning I posted something, you know, what I got to have a party? Would I got to get up there and talk about something stupid? Because every time I post something, if you go and you look back into Instagram since I've been on there, I've always used Instagram like a diary.
Right.
It's like I can look back at it. Someone can look back at it and go, okay, 2017, March, he's feeling some type of way about something. And I try not to go direct, right? All that frivolous stuff, you know. I mean, if you go back and you look at my early Facebook, I'm touching religion quite a bit. But what I realized with religion is everybody want to do it and reap the benefits of how religion can make you feel, but they don't want to do it.
Right.
They don't want to do the research.
Right.
I've always been like that with social media. I just don't see, if I wanted you to have an impression of me personally, I'll go to you.
Okay.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So what was I talking about?
You was talking about being your contribution being undercut.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Right.
I didn't like that. And I hope that person is listening, which I doubt. Don't undercut me.
Right.
Right. If you don't know what I do, it's purely your fault because you weren't around to see what I do.
Exactly.
Right. Not cool. I would never say that to anybody.
Right.
I would think before I say something like that.
Okay.
You know, that's all there is to it. You sure you don't have anything to talk about?
No, I already talked about my stuff. Going back to work.
Okay. So the harder we fall, which is the topic of this show, it's in, I don't want to say paying homage, but we're discussing a movie on Netflix right now called The Harder They Fall.
Correct.
Starring, who's starring in it?
Oh, man. So you're saying who's starring in it. So I'm just going to say the most known actors, because I really didn't focus on them. I focused on their characters. But we have Regina King.
Yes.
We have
Idris
Elba.
Elba. Jonathan Majors. OG. What's his name? Delroy Lindo.
There you go. And Deon Cole.
Right.
So
he's a writer for Blackish also. Maybe we can touch that down the line somewhere.
Right.
What's the dude named Stan? Lakeith?
Lakeith. Yeah, Lakeith.
Lakeith.
I can't remember his last name at this point.
And then there's the light-skinned girl. I think her name is Zazie. And there's two other guys. I don't really know them.
Right.
So I can't really call it. But yeah,
right.
The Harder They Fall, excellent movie.
Right.
Excellent movie. Netflix, so you can watch it at any time. But the reason we decided to talk about it, and I'm going to let you take over right here. Why is this movie so eye-catching for us? What does it mean for us?
So this movie really gives us a chance to find out about our history. Right. And when I say our, I mean Blacks.
Okay.
Black history. Because society, white society, would have you to believe that we didn't matter.
Okay.
And that we didn't contribute anything. But this lets you know that we did. So the movie is about a fictional gang or two gangs, rival gangs, but the characters in the movie are based on real life people.
People, right.
The things that happen in the movie is fiction.
It's fiction.
Because most of the people who are represented in the movie, they wouldn't even have crossed paths with each other because they was different time zones and stuff like that.
Right.
So in the movie, who we have represented is Rufus Buck, Nat Love, Trudy Smith, Stagecoach Mary, couldn't get her name out.
Right.
Cherokee Bill, Jim Beckwourth, Cathay Williams, also known as Cuddy, Bass Reeves, Bill Pickett, and Wally Esco.
That's a dope name. Wally
right.
Esco.
And all these people were real. They lived, they breathed, they fought, they bled, and they died. But they was real.
Did some first. How do I say that? They were pioneers because they did some things first.
Right. And so speaking of that, being pioneers, the one that comes to mind for me, I guess because, being Army.
Okay.
And she served in the Army.
I knew she was coming first. Let's go.
Cathay Williams.
What's so special about Cathay Williams? Because the way they have her depicted in the movie was, who was she down with? She was down with
Stagecoach Mary.
She was down with Stagecoach. She was actually a sidekick to Stagecoach Mary.
Yeah, she was her security at the door.
She was her security. But what's so special in real life about Cathay Williams? What's so special about her?
So she was the first African-American woman to enlist in the United States Army. But she enlisted as a man.
She enlisted as a man.
Yes, under the name William Cathay.
But what year was this?
So she enlisted in the Army.
I know it was old school.
Right, in 1866.
1866. So this is Civil War.
Well, it was after the Civil War. It was the Indian Wars.
Right after. And did we just use the word Indian? Did we just use that?
Native American.
There you go.
Native American.
So she joined the Army right after the Civil War. And she was the first Black female to join the United States Army. And she joined under false identity as a man. Okay.
And just changed her name around. William Cathay.
Dope.
Right.
Dope. And this is Cathay.
Or as she was known in the movie, Cuddy.
Not Kathy.
Not Kathy. Cathay.
Okay. I mean.
Oh, and also we have to say that she was a Buffalo Soldier.
Well, if she was, part of the United States Army, and that's when they started venturing out west. Yeah. Trying to take over new land.
Yeah. And then she joined the infantry.
But that's a milestone. Even though she went in under false pretenses. She did the thing.
Right.
But I also found the end tragic.
The end of her career or her life?
Her life.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the end of her life, but yeah. It might have been a little tragic.
I mean, she wasn't able to get any of her disability.
No, she didn't.
Did she have limbs removed or something because of diabetes?
Yeah, her foot, something. Yeah.
And things like that, know. And I think they found out she was a woman when she got sick, right?
Right, because she was going, doing a lot of sick call, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? That wasn't right.
Right. It wasn't.
I mean, they should have done something for her.
You know what I mean? Think, right?
You think about it. You look at, like, in your case, all the women you've met when you were in the Army. and all of y'all are like the let's say the offsprings of Cathay.
Yeah.
Right? All y'all. I mean, you went as far as you did, and whoever else,
Mm-hmm.
she did it when they definitely didn't want her to do it as a woman. Most importantly, didn't want her to do it as a Black person.
Right.
She did that thing.
Right.
And did what she had to do.
Right.
Cathay Williams.
There you go.
Williams. And in the movie, her name is Cuddy.
Cuddy. Mm-hmm.
Right. So we urge people when they watch the movie and you get introduced to Cuddy, keep her real history in the back of your mind.
Right.
And that's what every character we're going to name.
Right.
Right. Who's next?
Okay, so then we got Mary, Stagecoach Mary.
Stagecoach Mary.
Also known as Black Mary.
Black Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Well, give me some history about her.
So Mary Fields was born in Hickman County, Tennessee, and she was enslaved when she was born.
So she was born a slave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you use the word enslave.
Right.
Enslave. Cool,
right.
Cool.
And so then she is the first African-American female who was a mail carrier in the United States.
The first African-American female that was a mail carrier.
Right.
You remember that movie a long time ago? What's the guy that played in Bodyguard with Whitney Houston? Kevin Costner.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a movie about a mail carrier.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed how dangerous it was.
Mm-hmm.
So when I found out about her, I said, she's doing that job, worried about getting robbed and going through, treacherous territory, crazy weather, doing all this crazy stuff.
Right.
And she's a woman.
Right.
And she's a Black woman.
Right.
The picture that I found of her, she's holding a shotgun.
They said that she was 6 feet tall and 200 pounds.
She wasn't playing. That's my grandma.
She wasn't playing. And
that's my grandma.
Right. And then she wasn't girly. So like she hung out in the bars with the men playing cards and all that stuff like that.
That's my grandma. My grandma was about 6 feet, 5'11", 6 feet, broad shoulders. And you just knew from looking at her, I ain't playing no games.
Right, right.
I ain't playing no games. So Cathay.
Mm-hmm.
You said she was from Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Tennessee. Around, so...
no, Mary.
Mary.
Is from Tennessee.
Okay, Mary.
Yeah.
Stagecoach Mary.
Yeah.
Cathay. I don't remember where we said she was from, but...
She's from Independence, Missouri.
She's from Missouri.
That's where she was born.
So that's Missouri, and then that's Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Stagecoach Mary. Mail carrier.
Mail carrier.
What year?
Oh, Lord.
You
she did that. Yeah, I do. It's in here. Hold on.
Come on. Don't let the people know you read now.
1895.
1895. So that's about 30 years after the Emancipation Proclamation.
Right. And she did this for 8 years. Yep.
All right, Cathay.
By herself.
All right. I'm in Stagecoach Mary. I keep saying the same.
I don't know why you keep saying Cathay. You must be in love with Cathay.
I mean, the fact that she went to the Army.
Right, there you go.
And was out there doing her thing. Is crazy.
Right.
Now, those are two women that were in the movie. We started off with Cathay, of course. And her position in the movie is actually a villain.
Well, I mean, they're all, because they're gangs. They're gang members.
Not necessarily. We don't want to give a spoiler away. But one gang they're doing this for a reason.
Well, both gangs are doing it for a reason.
Well, I don't want to get into it. Okay,
right. Let's not get into the plot of the movie.
Payback. You took everything from me.
Okay.
How about that?
Well, we're not going to get into that because you can kind of say that both gangs are into payback because you find out why. So let's not get into that.
The majority of the movie is like the one gang that I'm saying is not in the payback. You see no signs of that. But one of them, from the beginning what's going on with him.
Okay.
His heart is involved.
Right. So, but I say both of them are. But like I said, we're not going to get into the movie.
Well, that's why movies...
We're more focusing on the characters.
Right, but that's why movies are for interpretation. Like, you can loosely interpret stuff. But the reason I'm saying that is because I don't want people to look in the movie because her name ain't Cathay in the movie.
Right.
So I want to place them on a side.
Right.
So let's do this. Let's go to Rufus Buck.
Well,
Can
I
you
was
go
going to
there?
let you talk about Rufus Butt because he wasn't originally in the people I wanted to talk about.
Okay, well, who you got next?
Bass Reeves.
What about Bass Reeves?
So Bass Reeves was an American lawman.
He's a marshal.
Yep, first black deputy U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi.
First black man west of the Mississippi to be a U.S. Marshal.
Yep. He worked mostly in Arkansas and Oklahoma territory.
Where it was tough.
It wasn't a state back then. It was just a territory.
Where it was tough.
Right.
So if he walks up in the spot, and he got that thing on his side.
Right.
You better listen to him.
And also he was born a slave too. Same as, Mary. So he was born in 1838 in Crawford County, Arkansas.
1838. Wasn't nothing nice for us in 1838.
Nope.
And he went on to become a marshal.
Yep.
Incredible.
Made over 3,000 arrests.
Right.
And shot and killed 14 people. He said in self-defense.
In self-defense. Now, I'm not clapping for the shot and kill.
Right.
I'm just clapping for, give this man a round of applause for being able to be him and thrive in that tumultuous time.
And the word is that he is the character or the person that the character, the Lone Ranger, is based on.
Yes, I heard that back in the day that the Lone Ranger was based on a black man. And we're saying right now that character, the Lone Ranger, was based on Bass Reeves.
Right.
Right? Now, in the movie, so I want people to know where to look. He is a marshal in the movie. Okay. Who you got next for me?
Nat Love.
Nat Love. Let's talk about Big Nat.
Nat Love.
Interesting.
Was a cowboy.
Was a cowboy.
A cowboy.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the name cowboy
We're going to get
later.
to that. We're going to get to it with him.
Okay. And then he was a cowboy following the Civil War.
Okay.
So just like the other ones, he was born a slave in 1854 in Davidson County, Tennessee.
Tennessee again. Tennessee 2-0 right now.
Right.
They in there.
Right. So he was a champion cowboy.
Okay.
And he later got the nickname Deadwood Dick.
Deadwood Dick.
When he entered a competition and he shot really well.
Shot really well.
Yes.
Deadwood meaning dead on. Good shot.
No, Deadwood because that's where the competition was at in Deadwood, South Dakota.
See? That's why you got to do your homework. You got here putting out false information.
Yep. So, and then after that, he decided he didn't want to be a cowboy anymore.
What did he do?
He became a porter.
A porter.
A Pullman porter on the trains.
Because that's all we could be was porters.
Right, because they said that was like a good job for black people.
Okay.
So that's what he did. And that's basically what he did for the rest of his life.
His life. I know when I was reading up on him, I know what blew my mind about him was he was in Denver. As he started off as a Pullman there. And I think he ended up passing away in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he ended up moving to Los Angeles.
Right.
And then, of course, you remember he was captured by a Native American tribe.
That right
Pima.
there bugged me out because first of all, he has an autobiography. He wrote it.
His own autobiography.
I was listening to Jonathan Majors, the guy that plays him in the movie, and he was saying it's only 75 pages. And he also said that it's like 75 pages of telling you how bad I am.
Right,
which is dope.
Right.
Like back then.
Right.
And this is what he's doing. He's intelligent. Probably, and we're going to get to this word right here, probably one of the best or originals as far as being a cowboy and some of the techniques he came up with. But you wanted to get into cowboy. Cowboy. Right.
So a lot of black people think that there aren't any black cowboys because we as a race right now, if we see a black person, a black man with a cowboy hat and cowboy boots on and everything, we're looking at them like, acting like those white people.
Right.
But we were the originals. The word cowboy was for a black man because they call the white men who worked with the cows, cow hands. But since they call black men boys anyway, so they call them a cowboy, which was really a little derogatory.
Right. So that's the origin of
cowboy,
of the word cowboy.
Right.
Which is really crazy.
It is. And not just that, not just cowboy, but we was watching the broadcast where Jonathan Majors, Regina King, and the writer
Right.
Director too, right? He directed and wrote.
Yeah. What's his name?
James.
I forgot his name. Wow, what a whack show. We forgot his name.
Oh my goodness.
But people can look it up. He's from
he's
England.
a singer, so his professional name is The Bullets.
The Bullets.
And he's the brother of Syl.
He's the brother of Syl.
Right. But we was watching that show and he was saying that the most pushback that he got about making this movie was from Black people.
That, and he also said the most, when he tried to discuss the history of these people we talking about, ain't no black cowboys.
Right.
Most pushback, but yeah, go ahead.
And that's crazy because like we were talking about earlier, we as Black people are so whitewashed that when someone comes to us and say, hey, this is your history.
Right.
Your ancestors did this, and that.
They ain't trying to hit.
We'll be like, that's not true.
Yeah.
Oh, that somebody made that up.
Yeah.
So why can't we accept the fact that we did things?
Okay.
That we did things before they will let us know that we did things.
It makes a lot of sense, which also leads me into the argument. I want to shed light on something. So you remember when the girl stood up in the audience at the conference that they were talking about this movie, and she used the word allow.
Oh, yes.
Netflix allow you to make this movie. And he went left.
Yeah, she asked him did he think about representation when he made the movie? His name is James Samuel.
James Samuel.
Yeah.
There you go.
And he said, nobody allowed me to make anything. He said, I was going to make this movie regardless if I had to shoot it with my iPhone.
Yeah.
I was going to make the movie.
Yeah.
And he stated that that's a word that we need to take out of the Negro dictionary.
Allow.
Because no one allows us to do things. We have a mind, we have a brain, we have ideals, we have dreams, just like everybody else do. So why do we have to be allowed to do something to express ourselves?
We deserve the creative freedom to get it done.
Right.
It shouldn't be stifled as a Black person.
Right.
Now, that's he's the guy that wrote it. He's not a character in the movie.
Right.
But he wrote it and directed it, and he got it done. I think some of his partners were with Jay-Z and some other people like that. I'm not sure, but maybe so. But because of time, right? Who's next?
I didn't have anybody next.
Okay.
I just want, because most of these people have books. There's books written about them. The only person that we really couldn't find too much information about was Trudy. Treacherous Trudy.
Treacherous
Trudy. Boy, that's a tongue twister. Ooh. She was the one that there's really not that much information about.
All they said about it was her and her homegirl were pickpockets.
Right. But what I wanted to highlight is the fact that we as Black people, we've been doing it and getting things done, making things happen since they brought us over here.
Okay.
You know, there's plenty of towns that was settled in the West that was all Black towns. They're all over the place. So the main thing that I wanted to really kind of focus on in this episode is get out there and do the research.
Right.
Learn about us.
Right.
Learn about what we contributed, how we contributed, that we were more than just slaves.
Right.
And with that, also want to not talk about it, but just put a shout in for the show that we watch on Netflix called High on the Hog. Go check it out. It talks about the origin of the Black food, food that came from Africa and stuff, and how it played a part in
how we're responsible
America,
for potatoes, rice.
Right. So that
yams,
is a good episode to watch on Netflix. High on the Hog.
Fish.
Everything. So much stuff.
They even touched the Native American and how cranberry sauce, turkey dressing is all Native American.
Right.
But yeah.
So just do some research.
Right.
Find out about us.
Right.
You'll be surprised what you find out.
So let me piggyback off you. Right. Most of the time when people speak of Black towns, they only speak of Black Wall Street.
Right, but there was so many.
It was so many, right? But there's just so much more to learn, and I'll leave that right there. most of the towns that hung around in our history was because we had to be careful, and that's a term, sundown towns. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, that's those towns that
you need to be. You
gotta be out of it before sundown, because if you caught,
yeah, it's a problem.
It's a problem,
right? But sometimes I think we should know those too.
Yeah,
so we don't contribute to their financial status.
Right. So when we was watching,
Lovecraft,
yeah, Jonathan Majors. When we was watching Lovecraft, and his uncle was doing the book, putting the book out to let Black people know where the sundown. And it's crazy because some of those towns still exist, so you can actually go online and research that and get that information.
They do.
Right.
I mean, but yeah, information, like we can't sit here and go through every piece of history, but we're just trying to bring awareness to it that there is a history to it. Now, I want to touch some more people. Bill Pickett. Who else? Cherokee Bill. These are also characters in the movie. Who else did I want to touch? Rufus Buck. What's the other guys?
Jim Beckwourth.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's all I needed. Oh, Wally Esco. I'm gonna start with him. Wally Esco was actually really a marshal. Wasn't as big as Bass Reeves.
Right.
But he was a marshal during that time, around the same time as Bass Reeves. So keep that in mind. There's another lawman. And then Beckwourth was next. Right? Basically a cowboy. Basically in the same vein, we actually gave you Nat Love and said cowboy, but Bill Pickett was a little bit before him. Because most of the cowboy moves and what the actual action you take to be considered a cowhand or a cowboy, Bill Pickett revolutionized it.
Right.
He revolutionized it.
And Bill Pickett is more known than Nat Love, and that's why I chose to focus on Nat Love.
But, you know, so I'm throwing these people in there. So Bill Pickett is a legend. He's a legend in any type of Black cowhand stuff that goes on now. The things that travel around, I guarantee you Bill Pickett's name is either attached to it,
right,
or they have something in honor of him.
Right.
Bad boy.
Right.
Bad boy. Plus, you read some stuff about he was known to put hands on people. You had mentioned something earlier about Nat Love's capture. Nat Love's capture. I get him so mixed up with Nat Turner. I'm sorry. But captured by the Pima. Is it Pima? You sure it's not Pima?
I think it's Pima. I could be
but
wrong.
It doesn't matter. It's Native Americans. What I found interesting was about that. If you remember when I was doing the master's degree and I was learning about out here, that's the native tribe to Colorado, right? Wyoming, I think.
Arizona, Arizona, because that's where he got captured at.
Right. They caught him. And they adopted him. And he was getting ready to marry the chief's daughter.
But then he escaped. Stole a pony.
He escaped. And why did they adopt him?
Because they empathized with his heritage. They understood.
They understood. Plus, you know, he had that hair too. You know. Yeah. I mean, the pictures are on my Instagram page if anybody want to go look at them. But yeah, I thought that was so dope. But let me get back to the other guys. I said Beckwourth, right? I said Wally Esco, Bill Pickett, Cherokee Bill. Special. Yeah. We're going to close out with him.
Okay.
Why is Cherokee Bill so special to me?
Because his ancestors, his grandfather, or was it his father?
Father.
Selma,
Alabama.
Right.
I read that.
Right.
And I saw names. Selma. His father's last name was Goldsby. And when I saw from Summerfield Road, that's the school, that's the street West Side is on. Well, Lapsley, Summerfield Road, whatever you want to call it. I'm old school, so I'm going to say Lapsley.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The street that lead to the Ice House. I just went left, didn't I? But it's okay.
Go ahead.
But I thought that was deep. You know what I mean? Because what I realized in the history of Cherokee Bill, he didn't play.
No, he did not.
He laid down.
Right.
He wasn't no cowboy.
Right.
He was a gunslinger.
Right.
And he even brags about, in some of the tales that people told about him, Yeah, I knew Billy the Kid.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Wider.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't want this though. Crazy.
This ain't what you want.
This ain't what you want. But that's incredible.
Yeah.
But from Selma.
Mm-hmm.
And in the future, we're going to do some other famous people from Selma.
Right.
Like the Mia Hamm's. I know she's white.
Mm-hmm.
Is her name Mia Hamm? Soccer player. She's won gold medals from Selma. The writer.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at and whatnot. But these people that we've talked
and some hip hop people that we just found out is from Selma.
Oh, yeah. Ray
Well,
Vaughn.
from Alabama. We don't know
From
what
Alabama.
part of Selma.
Ray Vaughn.
What part of Alabama?
One of the original hip hop guys in Harlem when the whole Harlem world and stuff was getting cracking. He's one of the architects, right? So I stopped at Cherokee Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could do a whole nother 30 minutes or so on this guy because he went around looking for that smoke.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for it. Like, you think you faster than me?
He said he wanted the smoke.
He wanted that smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's from Selma. And we graduated with someone with the last name Goldsby. I don't know if they are connected or whatever, but it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Because Cherokee Bill, the reason he was called Cherokee Bill is because he was part Cherokee. Native American.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he was a slave or not. I'm not sure.
Oh, no. But so that just what we said.
Right.
Research it.
Right. We
look at these people. Go back and read their histories and everything.
Right.
Learn about us.
But overall, I'm ended right there. Did I leave anybody out, Cherokee? Oh, Rufus Buck.
Oh, yeah.
Rufus Buck. He was not a cowboy.
No.
He wanted that smoke too.
Mm-hmm.
He actually really had a gang.
Mm-hmm.
So in the movie, it's a fictional gang, yes. And he has his members of the gang. Trudy, Cherokee Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Those were members of Rufus Buck's gang.
Mm-hmm.
But in real life, he had a gang. And they was hitting those stagecoaches and those trains. They wasn't no joke either. They catch you slipping. It is what it is. And that's Rufus Buck, So when you look at the movie and Idris plays Rufus Buck, I mean, I implore people to use their imagination and be like, man, was he really like that?
Right.
Why can't we do that?
Right.
Instead of looking at what the movie Wyatt Earp, which I love, Tombstone,
right? Yeah, those are good movies.
And go, oh man, those are good. So who was Doc Holliday?
But we didn't know though.
Right, we didn't know any better
back then.
Right.
As the chick said, allowed. That's all we were allowed to see.
Right. We didn't know.
We didn't know because we weren't able to tell our story back then.
I'm gonna tell you something. The only black cowboy I saw back then, may have been. I think the name of the movie is Silverado. It's with Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
Remember the cowboy goes to the town and Clint Eastwood was his partner.
Right.
And the prostitute got her face cut up.
Right. But you know what? When was that movie made?
That was in the 80s. 80s.
Okay.
Early 90s.
So you're saying, so that's not even back then because the Westerns that I grew up on were the ones that was made when everything was black and white. So back in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so it's 50s, crazy.
But the 70s, they had this big genre called spaghetti westerns. When Clint Eastwood got big,
Right.
What is it? What is it? Was it The Harder They Fall? I'm not sure about the titles. I've wiped them out of my mind. The what is it? The good, bad,
and ugly. I mean, I watched them and I watched them several times.
That.
Yeah.
But all that was good, but no. None of us. Right? In those movies, the reason they called them spaghetti westerns is because there was an Italian dude that was infatuated with what you said was on when you were little, 40s and 50s and 60s. And he did his own interpretation. If I may get into a little movie making, we got like 6 minutes before we get out of here.
Okay.
Right? So telling the story without dialogue. So you look in my face and you see fear.
Oh, the silent movies.
Oh, but they were not silent. They were they had audio. But to represent tension in the movie, it's the way he put the camera in a close up, and it's just of the right eye blinking, or it's right before a gun spike, and Clint Eastwood got the cigar in his mouth and is like twirling it. You can feel the tension.
Right.
He did that. Right, and props. But I'm saying right now, 2021, The Harder They Fall.
Yep.
The harder they fall.
Yeah.
Because it's us.
Yes.
It's us.
Yes.
And it's not like I'm sitting here and I'm not familiar with other Westerns and how they did it. I know, which is why I added that end part in about the Westerns and stuff like that. I added that in. And by the way, there was a Western that came out back in the day and I thought it was outstanding, but it was science fiction. Mm-hmm. We watched the new version of it on HBO. Westworld.
Oh, that was good.
That was a Western back in the day. Yeah. It's just that he was a robot.
That was good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
But that's the closest we got to something different.
Right. It needs to come back.
It needs to come back on, right? But even though they didn't went there with it.
Well, we're not going to talk about stuff that needs to come back.
They went there with it. But yeah, The Harder They Fall, great movie. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to watch it again.
Oh, yeah. We're going to watch it again.
I started seeing Easter eggs and I'm seeing things.
Right.
People's fathers on the wall, the towns, the
Let's not give it away.
No.
But look for things.
Right.
Pay attention to the movie. You're going to have to watch it more than once.
Right.
Because there's things that we didn't catch.
Right.
But now we know. And there's something that my daughter pointed out that I didn't catch. But now I'm going to go back and look at the movie and be like, okay. So now I'll be looking for it.
All right. I mean.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give The Harder They Fall?
12.
Over.
Yeah.
I got a tricky question for you. Mm-hmm. So if you're giving The Harder They Fall a 12, what did you give Black Panther?
Black Panther was 15.
Okay. So we on that type of time. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. We on that type of time.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So it's a good movie on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to actually play by the rules. I'm not going to do what you did.
And Lovecraft was a 13.
Lovecraft was a 13? Mm-hmm. I'm going to play by the rules.
And
like
Watchmen was up there too. I'm just saying, okay, go ahead. Play by the rules. The harder they fall.
The harder they fall on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 9. And the only reason I don't give it a 10, I wish it would have expanded more on the story in the movie.
Right.
I wanted more.
Right.
But 9 out of 10, I recommend you go see it. If you have Netflix, go and watch it.
Well, don't go see it. Just see it.
Well, go to your living room.
Yeah.
Go to your bedroom.
Wherever.
No Netflix and chilling. Just watch it.
Just watch the movie.
Just watch the movie. Don't start this nonsense.
I know, right?
Like, stop your boyfriend / or your girlfriend and say, hey,
we watching the movie.
We watch this movie.
We'll chill later.
Right. We need to fantasize on our history.
There you go.
And with that being said,
we're out.
We out of here.
All right.
We'll be back.
Yeah, we will.
I'll be careful.